everybody, welcome back to another Avenger Cast. It's been like 2 months since we actually shot an Avenger Cast. This time we have almost a completely new cast of people. We have Audrey, also known as a comic book mom. We have Phil, the Captain Cummings again. Scott.
Hey guys.
Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting to let you guys say hi first. Scott, Koestenbraumstar.
Hello.
And Chris isn't here at the moment, DakenHowlett, but his wife is sitting down and she's mostly listening to us, Niki. Just throwing that out there in case she wants to say something in the middle of the cast.
Oh, hi.
Hello. I'm sorry for cutting you off, Audrey, when you said hi. I keep forgetting to let people say hi first before moving forward.
That's okay.
Okay, so a lot's been going on the past couple of months. I say we leave Avengers Versus X-Men for last because I know that's going to take up a nice small bulk of time. And before we get into that, let's talk about all the #1s that are coming out recently from Image and Vertigo and a couple from other companies like, oh, Dynamite. Almost forgot the company. Scott, you're enjoying some of the #1s you were talking about before we started recording from Image.
Yeah, I'm currently enjoying a little book called Saga. It is a very, very, very good book. It's kind of like a heavy metal magazine meets, oh my goodness, I don't know, just meets epic. It's got that sci-fi feel to it, but it's also, it has a lot of sword and sorcery kind of feel to it too. I was talking to Ghost Critic actually a little while ago, and we were likening it to Star Wars actually. There's a huge conscious Star Wars thing going on in that book.
Especially with the spaceship mention.
Yeah.
The two-page spread in the first one where you saw like the big battle fighting where they kind of look over, I thought that felt very Star Wars.
And I'm really feeling like that bounty hunter, the Will, is going to turn out to be like a good guy and help the main characters. So he's kind of like a Han Solo, you know. The Lion Cat is kind of like a Chewbacca, you know.
I just like the crude humor with the love story so that me and, you know, the missus can enjoy the book at the same time.
It was definitely fun reading Saga 1 with my girlfriend, and we both got to the exact same page in the middle of the book at the exact same time, and we just both looked at each other and then looked back at the book, and then we looked at each other again, and then we looked back at the book and we slowly turned the page.
And wash your hands.
Washed my hands. And we continued on.
By the way, hi guys, I'm here too.
Oh yeah, Mike's here too. I skipped over him completely. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Chris. But yeah, lots of #1s actually. I mean, looking pretty good.
The Honey Badger, that one's taken off as a series.
I want that book. Phil, you have to send us all a copy of your #1.
Okay, I'm going to photocopy it and then send it to all of you guys.
Thank you.
Not really, no, probably.
Rage More, that was another really good issue. That's a Richard Corbin book about a living castle and about the history of how it became living. That was another really good one.
When did that come out?
That came out a couple of weeks ago, I think.
#1.
Yeah.
I gotta look that up.
I agree, it was awesome.
Hey, that's another thing I gotta put on my #1s list. What company released it? It was Image.
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse. Okay.
Because they're not in, when I buy them digitally, it was not in the regular Comixology app, so I thought I couldn't get it, but you have to like download a separate Dark Horse app to be able to get it.
Yeah, Marvel's also separate from Comixology in a way. At least I think so. My Marvel books are separate.
Some of them are, I think, but mainstream ones I think you can still get on there.
Well, since I have new people here, what do you guys think about the new straight-to-digital comic books and digital comics in general?
I like them just because I can't. We live like an hour away from, a store, so it makes it easy for me to download something that we didn't already get. Otherwise, if I order it from somewhere like Midtown, it'll take like a week to get here, unless I want to pay really expensive shipping, which I don't. So.
What about you?
Sorry, where do you live, Audrey?
Like in Central Ohio.
Oh, okay. Right in the middle of a cornfield, right?
You're just like I am.
Yeah, you live out like, where there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's cornfields that surround our house, so.
Wow.
Little children named Malachi running through the sickles.
I just happen to live in the city in Kansas, so. Comic book wise, anyways. Not anything else.
Well, what about you, Scott? What do you think about the digital comic books and stuff?
I'm not really. I'm about as technologically retarded as they come. There's not a lot that I'm able to do electronically that doesn't have somebody helping me. So I don't have any kind of digital devices or anything like that. I just kind of. I'm old school. I just go to the comic book store, buy my comics. That's it. Everything's paper for me. I mean, the computer, every once in a while, I'll, feel like a little gelding, and I'll get on the computer and try to find something to download to watch or something like that. Or Chrome to One actually helped me to download some kind of a thing on the computer so that I can actually read comics. But most of them are like really old ones, Golden Age and stuff like that. So I use that, but I think it's a good idea because there's so many people out there right now that have got, the iPads and everything else that you can use for all that stuff. So I think it's a good way to save money because it is cheaper, is it not?
No, comics cost
Not
the
for
exact
the
same.
same day, yeah.
That's the only reason why I don't buy them.
Yeah, same price.
If they happen to just go all digital, I would probably just only buy old books from then on because I don't have some. I'm a collector, I like to have.
Yeah, comics will never go all digital. There's no way.
I agree. I don't see that ever happening. Too many people like to have the copy in their hand, and it's very expensive to own. Not even iPads can go for like $500-600, even $1,000 for the most memory. My iPod Touch cost me $250 when it first came out, and that was back when I had extra money, or else I wouldn't have that. It's too much money for the digital devices. They'll always be print.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of like a one-time fee, though. And once you have it, they're selling the comics at the same price that the paper ones are, and the paper costs them, a fortune to print and distribute and all that.
Yeah, but the people are buying. That's the thing. If you look at the sales are still very good, so they could afford it. I think if comic book popularity ever went down, or like people stopped buying, then maybe. But even then, it's kind of doubtful. They'll just make less copies.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying that the digital price, they sell it at the same price that they do the paper, so it's kind of a rip-off to me.
Absolutely.
The digital copy, anyways.
And the collectability aspect is there too. Somebody who owns an Amazing Fantasy number 15 is somebody who has it on a download app. You can't compare the two. Like, somebody can't say, well, I have that too. Well, no, not really, you don't.
Or my Marvel Masterworks or whatever. I got Amazing 15 with my Marvel Masterworks.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, there's a bit of a difference when it comes to the collectability. You can't take a digital download somewhere and get enough money to buy a house for it. So
yeah, no, never ever happened. But I'll tell you one thing: I did get the Infinite comic, even though I didn't know I got it for free. Like I said with Avengers Versus X-Men 1, wasted 99 cents. Those are worth for 99 cents, 65 pages, and it's something that's not going to be out on print. I would say that's fine. That's not a problem for me. But like if it went to $3.99, they could keep their digital straight comic anyway.
yeah.
And even then, you have to own the electronic device to download it to, and yeah.
if I didn't have my iPad, I probably wouldn't download them at all, but
Exactly.
it's nice on there.
Yeah, because you can't read it on a computer. It's not as fun as reading it.
No, the iPad's neat just because you can, like, it'll make a one panel the entire size of the iPad. That's the part I like about it, but I'd rather have the actual book, but if I forget something and I want to read it the week that it comes out, it's easier to download it.
And like you said too, Audrey, if you can't find something somewhere, if it's not available to you, that is an easy way for you to get a hold of it so that you can read something that you're not able to go out and physically buy.
Yeah, because I couldn't find that Ragemore one at any of the shops when I had went to some.
Okay, moving off of digital comics, now let's go into DC before we go into Marvel, because it's apparent that Marvel is definitely becoming very superior to DC. Audrey, you mentioned a series that's actually going to be starting up. I read about it briefly because I haven't been on the internet much. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, James Robinson is going to be doing He-Man. I don't remember who's drawing it, but I'm just super excited because that was like my favorite cartoon when I was little.
Yeah.
So anything He-Man, I will buy. And the cover they showed online of it was really cool.
I saw the cover.
It's supposed to be like Skeletor figured out some way to kind of like change reality or something and take over. And then, so Prince Adam and all of them are just like townspeople, and they don't realize that it wasn't always like this.
That sounds really good, actually. I probably will pick that up too.
Is it from DC or is it from Vertigo?
I don't know. It was listed with the DC solicits, so I'm not sure.
Because that doesn't sound like something
it's actually going to be under, but
okay, because it doesn't sound like something DC. I believe it's Vertigo. I'm going to look it up while we're talking about it. He-Man. I don't think it would be DC.
If it's Vertigo, Skeletor may be naked in it.
Hooray!
I think it's supposed to be 6 issues, is I think what it said.
Yeah, it's a 6-issue mini, that I know.
Yeah.
And it is Vertigo. It is Vertigo. So.
Nice. Yeah, I'll definitely pick that up.
Oh,
I'll get a trade.
Anybody enjoying Ferris from Vertigo, by the way? If anybody reads Fables?
I haven't read the 2nd issue yet. I thought the 1st issue was pretty good, but I wanted it to be more like princesses.
Yeah, I started reading the 2nd. I didn't finish it yet. It's pretty okay.
Yeah, if it gets into be like, more about the princesses, then I'll probably keep getting it, but...
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Read issue 2.
Okay.
More background story happens there.
I think I have to get it digitally again. I think I have the 3rd issue coming in print.
Okay.
Just because I have to order like 2 months in advance to get our books, so...
Oh, okay.
Now, it kind of messes up some stuff like that, or, when I have to pick up issues. Because I was still behind on, like, Suicide Squad and a couple other ones that I wasn't getting.
Don't worry about Suicide Squad too much. I've been reading it. It's a very slow pace. It's a very slow pace. You're not missing out on much.
Really.
Well, I heard that the last issue was supposed to be the big issue because of the origin.
It was Harley's origin.
Yeah, that issue I thought was really good.
It was good, but the way it ended kind of was like...
Well, she's on the cover of the next issue, so I'm assuming she's not dead. So.
No, yeah, I don't think... They can't kill anybody that fast. I'm sorry. I don't think they can anyway.
You kind of know that the B character that joins the team is probably going to die in every issue, though.
That's fine. I don't mind. Well, Yo-Yo's still alive, sort of.
It's kind of awesome, though, because it's like the red shirts on Star Trek. You just know that person's going to die.
All to save William Shatner. I know, Scott, you said you're taking a break from DC completely.
Yeah, starting next week, I think I'm just gonna... I'm not getting a lot of titles from DC right now anyways. I was only getting, I think, 3 or 4, but I'm gonna drop all of them. And I'm going to just keep going with the Marvel because, like we were talking before we started the podcast, that sense of wonderment that comes with comics, or that sense of wonderment that should come with comics, let me put it that way, is not there with DC anymore for me. And I could say that, it was the reboot that did it, and that would be about 75% correct. But even before that, it just seemed to be waning for me. The very last DC epic thing that had me wowing over comics was probably The Blackest Night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, it was really good, you know, but it just seemed to really wane after that. Brightest Day, I was really looking forward to Brightest Day, and the first few books of that was really good, but it dragged on really long, and they just used it as a set-up prototype for all the other books coming out. And then I think that because that failed so miserably, that's why they went to the reboot. And I think that after they did the reboot, they basically shot themselves in both eyeballs, in the ears, and in the mouth.
Honestly, it wasn't just the Brightest Day that DC decided to do the reboot. Other than the Batman and Green Lantern comics, most of the other comics were flatlining in sales, and Marvel was basically beating out DC in every shape and form they could, especially when the movie started coming out and started hinting about the Avenger movie. So DC decided at the last moment, like maybe 6 months ahead of time, that they were going to just pull an overhaul on all their characters and try their best to do better.
Yeah.
And that's when they shot themselves in the foot, so to speak.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
What was the last comic book, and this is for everybody here, what was the last comic book that everybody read that you had so much fun reading it that when you put it down you said to yourself, that was like when I was a kid?
That's a very good question. I don't know. Somebody else go first, because I've got to think about it.
I didn't read comics when I was a kid. So.
That definitely answers that.
I read a lot of books, but I didn't read comics.
After playing the video game of Spider-Man, I got into Spider-Man.
No, he said, what comic book you read that made you think back to when you started reading comic books?
Quality of Life. That's all I can remember.
Okay.
Well, I got kind of a thing. Like, it was this Fantastic Four story arc, because you got all these big epic fights. And I remember, you know, just playing with the action figures as a kid, playing for like 3-hour battles with the action figures. And that's what reading that comic was like for me. That's why I liked it so much.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's a mix between two. First, the Superboy series before the relaunch, really, the way it was done and the way it felt like a mix between Smallville, and they kind of worked more on the Superboy, you know, having him grow up, but at the same time it was kind of like coming into his character all over again. And before that, Infinite Crisis kind of was really good in my opinion also, because it kind of brought back stuff from 1986 and kind of like put more of a period on it. Like ended all the questions from way back then. So
yeah,
that miniseries really, and the way they killed off Superboy for a while and like everything had changed, it was really, really good. And how it was Superboy Prime's fault for the death and everything. It was really good. It just explained a lot.
The death of Superman back then was really big as well.
And then Blackest Night kind of rounded off everything with the deaths and the returns with Necron. So
yeah, that's one of the things, you know, like listening to everybody talk about what it was that really kind of got them into that. It's one of the things that unfortunately is really missing from comics today is, I mean, everybody clamors to get out there to buy the books and stuff, but then at the end of the night when you're done reading your comics, I sit there and I have a pile of maybe 2 comics that I thoroughly enjoyed, and then I have a stack, literally a stack of comics that I look at and I think to myself, that's, you know, that's $80 or that's $100 sitting there that I could be doing something else.
Yep.
And you know, that's kind of a sad commentary right now on the way that comics are.
But I feel opposite of that. I've really liked almost all of the books that I've been reading, like a lot. And then there's only a couple that I pretty much dropped already that I didn't like. But
Well,
I didn't read comics a lot back then, so I've loved the reboot, because there's a lot of stuff that I wouldn't normally have read without them rebooting it, like Captain Atom and Wonder Woman I wouldn't have read unless from the reboot I bought it, and
Trust
there's just
me,
stuff like that.
to be honest, if you're enjoying the reboot, go back to the 1980s. You'd enjoy the comics a lot more, and then you'll understand why a lot of us people don't like the reboot.
Well, I'm really liking all the independents right now, though, too, because it is more to what I used to read, like Severed, that just got finished, is more to the likes of what I used to read in the book form, not comic books, but that was more to my style and what I used to read, so...
Okay. Because a lot of people...
stuff like that.
Okay, because a lot of people with the relaunch, they didn't like the way I down-talked the new Superman. I said, okay, do me this favor, read this series, and then you tell me which Superman's better. And I always recommend the Man of Steel series from 1986, the John Byrne's Man of Steel, the way they reinvented Superman with the parents alive and everything. Mm-hmm. That was good.
It was so fantastic.
That was amazing.
That. Didn't you send that to me, Scott?
Yeah.
It was so good. I thought it was.
That was officially what I liked Superman when I started reading in 1998. I got the book, the trade paperback of it, soon after, and that put the staple in my like for Superman.
Well, I think one of the things like that Audrey says that makes a lot of sense is she said that she's enjoying everything that's coming out in the relaunch so far, and let's be honest, that is why they relaunched and they rebooted everything, because they wanted to get new readers. They wanted to get new readers, but they wanted to keep the old readers, and the way that they were going to keep the old readers was to have the same characters, but they were tweaking them. So they were trying to get the best of both worlds, but the problem is, well, you see, the problem is, that's so hard to segue into that. Okay, well, the problem is that when you're trying to have the best of both worlds, when you're trying to please new readers and you're trying to get the old readers to stay on board because you're using the same characters, but they're tweaked, the problem is the old guard, being, the older readers, they have a problem with, it's a legalistic problem, it's an ownership problem. I don't want you to change my character. And,
exactly.
Yeah, and that's where we have to give a little bit, and that's cool, because, you're going to bring a whole bunch of new readers on board too, and then you're going to have something to talk about likewise with new and old readers, but it's just hard to make that transition.
In many ways, but I can't like it. I tried.
I think that what they're setting up, though, with Jeff Johns, with that woman or whatever from Flashpoint that kind of knows what's going on, I think they're going to either bring it back or, try to please both people again with some event that's going to come.
She was going to be their reset button if they needed it, but because it's doing so well, they're not going to do it.
Well, they always got it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had this nagging suspicion tugging at the back of my Fruit of the Looms that at some point they're going to pull a Dallas and it was all a dream. I just I have a horrible feeling,
I'll live with that.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare more along the lines, but I'll live with that.
Yeah.
A 52-issue nightmare. With 6 more books coming out. Now, without mentioning one of the books, this goes for one person in particular, Bill. Without mentioning that book, is anybody getting any of the new 6?
Yes.
I'm getting one.
What's so funny?
I know which one Phil's getting.
Oh no. No.
I'm getting several besides the one that you don't want to mention.
I'm not getting any of them.
I'm probably getting 1 or 2 or 3.
I'm really interested in that Dial H one because, like I said, it sounds more like to the style of what I like from the mysteries, and it's written by like a a book writer is writing it. So
I forgot about that one actually. That actually does look good.
It was an older book.
That does.
It
GI
came out.
Combat looked good too, actually.
I just don't understand how they cancel one war book and decide to come right back out again with another one.
Well, I heard a lot of people said that the last couple of whatever the last war book was, the Men of War or whatever, started to get how they wanted it to be, where it was actually getting better. Like when they pulled in the Frankenstein character and stuff. So maybe that's how they're kind of transitioning over to this new book, and it's supposed to be better. I don't know. I'm not interested in the war comics, so.
I just don't understand how they kept certain books and they dropped like OMAC and.
Let's not even talk about OMAC because I don't even feel like weeping tonight.
Okay. Well, what about Hawk and Dove? That was a good comic.
Hawk and Dove was a very interesting book.
I don't know why they had to get rid of that. I thought the storyline was very interesting and excellent. I just still can't believe it.
Yeah.
Well, why do they got to just stick to the 52 plan? I mean,
Agreed.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Comics just don't progress into an identity overnight. It's only been, they decided to do that at like issue 6. That's 6 months.
Agreed. So it's no, in my opinion, I don't know, DC just seems to be doing, yeah.
Like they're testing it out and they're saying, oh, that's bad, let's just put it with something else.
I don't know, I just feel like every time DC has something new, it's like a new nail in their own coffin. When they announced Shazam, I don't know if anybody's a Shazam fan.
Oh my god.
When I saw the new Shazam, first thing I thought of was, okay, what side of the hood is he from? I'm sorry.
I like that little Shazam story they had, though.
I don't. I'm sorry.
But why?
They made Billy Batson a punk!
I don't know why they make these people different and bad. That's the thing I don't understand with the new 52. Change the character and that's... Wow.
That'd be like making Peter Parker friggin' like a drug pusher,
Oh, please, don't suggest that.
Yeah, ever since I mentioned about Peter Parker and Mary Jane breaking up and they did that in the comics, Michael won't let me say anything anymore.
Oh my god, no. Peter Parker and Mary Jane belong together.
Oh god, here he goes.
No, it's really just common sense.
Mary Jane isn't even his true love, though.
That's right, Gwen was.
Right. Even Stan Lee said they were supposed to get married.
In the Spider-Man movie, it was him and Mary Jane all the way from one.
That's the movie.
Yeah, but in the comic books too, wasn't it?
No, he was gonna marry Gwen until she got killed.
But then Mary Jane came in the picture.
She took the leftovers.
But it's a better couple.
You gotta watch out for those redheads.
Okay, I'll let you go on that one.
Oh, you'll let him go on that one, okay.
Just that one.
Just that one.
Everybody gets one.
Okay.
Yeah, Gwen was really she was Betty, I mean, MJ is Veronica, and we all know that Veronica is nice to look at, but Betty's the one that you want to be married to.
Oh boy.
If that makes any sense.
Yes. To me. But to Michael, he'll always insist, Mary Jane.
Always will, for the win.
Okay, well, since we left DC alone now, and we're in Marvel, is there any independent stuff we want to talk about? Before we go into Marvel? Road Rage. I didn't get to talk about this at all in the cast. Road Rage by Joe Hill and his father, Stephen King. Amazing.
Yes, agreed.
I love it. I just don't know.
I love the. I would buy the book, and I'll keep buying the book for the very fact that there's a character in it named Lemmy who looks exactly like Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead.
Yes.
I mean that's right, man. That's why I'm reading that book. I'm like, that's Lemmy from Motorhead. I don't care about anything else going on, but that's Lemmy.
But my question is, it looks like a big solid the end for number 2. What do you think's going to happen in number 3?
I don't know. It's real flippy, I mean, you think that everybody's going to be together in the book, and then, like 5 panels later, they've run over like 5 of the bikers and crushed them under the bikes.
I know.
Under the trucks, and I'm like, man, they better not kill Lemmy.
No, he's the only one that survived with Vince.
Yeah, that's probably there's like Lemmy phoned him and said, you know, man, if you kill my character, I won't do any more music. Not that he talks like that at all.
Okay, any other independents that we missed?
Did anybody happen to get Fanboys versus Zombies or whatever that was called?
No, I was offered it, and I tried for a contest to win it, and I skipped it.
Does anyone else read American Vampire?
Oh.
I love that book.
Sorry, bad memories.
Everything Scott Snyder has been
Vampires.
I hear that is a good book.
It just finished an arc, and it was awesome.
Well, Image reached 20 years from what we see.
That's not Image.
That's right.
iVampire. Very good. Try that again. American Vampire is from Vertigo.
I know. I just saw the cover or something.
Oh, thank you.
It's like 20 years. So give respect.
Can I throw in? I've been reading a book called Whispers.
Yeah.
And I was saying that for me, it's very close to being on my favorite list. Like Saga is, it is a very simple story. It's just a guy who suffers from insomnia, and at the same time, he's somebody who has a phobia of germs so bad that he has like a hard time touching a handle to go into a restaurant or something like that. And what happens is he kind of leaves his body when he does finally sleep, and he can see what other people are doing and stuff like that.
Ooh.
So he kind of has fun doing that, but every time he does it, like the book is it's kind of lighthearted, and it's a nice kind of book, and he's floating around and stuff, and then he hears this voice, and he goes down to see what this voice is, and it's in the forest, and there's a baby on the ground, and this thing picks the baby up and starts to eat it. And it is the most horrendous scene in this comic, and it went from being everything's going along nicely, and then you're just like, oh my god, like what is going on?
I'm buying it.
It looks like things are nice until that happens.
I'm buying the book.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and then the second issue it gets a little further where he's trying to figure out like what is this other voice, what is this other creature, because when he is like kind of astral traveling out of his body, he can actually feel where that person is, and he can actually go close to where that creature or that person is, and it always has a kid involved, like he wants to eat the kid or something. So it's really weird, it's disturbing actually, that part, but it's a good read.
Okay, and now moving off of the independents and into the company that, other than IDW in my opinion, is dominating the comic book world right now with a huge title, but we'll get to that later. First, let's get into the regular comic books. In bulk, what would you guys say you get? Around how many comics from Marvel do you guys get, would you say, in bulk? A month?
A lot.
I get about 40, I think, Marvels a month.
And Phil?
I'm counting them, just 1 second.
Oh, okay.
Take your shoes off.
I would say I get about...
it's probably about 10. But 9 now because they canceled one of my favorites. Deadpool Max.
Yeah. I feel bad. They canceled I think all they have now in the Max line is Nick Fury.
Oh, wow.
They're doing like another Punisher one.
They are?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's like supposed to be untold stories of Punisher Max or something.
Why are you saying this to Michael?
When is that coming out?
Oh no.
Because I will get that.
Yeah, you will get that!
I'm making my order, so...
Okay, wait. He will get that. No. In other words, Chris, I know you buy all the comics. Chris will get that, and Michael will read it.
Right.
Right. Michael doesn't buy comic 1.
I used to buy comics.
Used to. Keyword.
Used to.
Used to.
Used to.
Right.
I've actually dropped quite a few Marvel. But it's just because they were making me mad with the twice-a-month shipping.
Yeah, that's pissing me off. But I hear what they're doing is a twice-a-month thing for a half a year, and then they're switching to different books to do twice a month. Like, at the end of the year, all the books are going to have double releases at least once.
I don't like that.
I'm not too much of a... Especially because I buy all the Avenger titles and a lot of X-Men titles. I'm not a huge fan of that myself.
Yeah, after probably the Avengers Versus X-Men, I've been all the Avengers titles.
If this seems kind of odd, I'm going to be dropping a Avengers title, not the Avengers title, a Avengers title pretty soon.
Can I guess which one?
Sure.
Avengers Academy.
I never picked that one up.
Secret Avengers.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
I
Knew
kind of
it.
figured. I was going to get
I'm going to drop it too.
I've loved the first two story arcs, but there was another big event that happened last year that drove that book right into the ground, and then they start to bring it back up, and I'm just not going to take another big event smashing it right into the ground and not doing anything with it.
Yep.
I'm not going to ride that
book. They just kept Warren Ellis doing the one-shots on it. I would buy it forever.
Those were really good. Yeah, I like the story arc they got now, but I'm not riding a roller coaster of awesome to poop.
I'll keep buying it as long as it has Gabriel Hardman doing the art, because I love his art.
Is he the one doing the art right now for it?
Yes.
Nah, I can't stand him.
He was my favorite doing the Hulk series. That was my favorite artist on that.
I can't live with this artist in the Secret Avengers. And X-Men, thank God, X-Force, they just changed artists again, or else I was going to go nuts.
I didn't like that last arc of the X-Force.
I didn't either. It made no sense to me at all.
That was like the worst of it was like awesome, and then that arc just kind of was like stinky.
I didn't like the whole...
Does anybody remember the art on FF? Not Fantastic Four, but FF.
Which one they've switched? The current art? The current one?
Not the current one, but the one they had before, where you couldn't even tell the kids apart.
Oh, yeah. I dropped it right before that arc, thank you, God.
Whoever it was right now, I don't remember who it is, but I thought it was pretty good this week, so it's probably going to be my pick of the week for the 28th. I don't know. A couple weeks behind, so...
I dropped it back in.
I'm still getting used to Chris, the guy that's doing Wolverine in the X-Men. I'm still getting used to his artwork.
Yeah, his
I like his.
Really good.
I'll tell you what I don't like.
Okay.
Sorry, just to jump in.
No,
but speaking of artwork, and you may slam me for this. John Romita Jr.'s art is getting so much crappier as the years go by.
Yep, I agree. 100%. You're right.
He draws everybody like damn Lego people.
I was going to ask if anybody saw that on the Avengers Versus X-Men one, if they thought that his art looked like really bad on some pages.
Yes,
it looked pretty decent on some, and pretty terrible.
And then some of the faces were really weird.
And let me tell you, speaking as an artist, and I don't know if this is the reason that he does it that way, or he's been doing it that way, but his interiors, like his exteriors, like on the covers and stuff like that, aren't too bad when he does covers, but the interior art, it's really easy to do that stuff, because everything that he draws, if you ever see him sketch, he sketches almost blocky first, and it's not a very far cry from a finished product from his sketch. So I don't know if he's doing it because it's easier or quicker, but I'm telling you, it's...
he's the reason why I dropped the Avengers title, the first arc.
I remember you saying that once way back. Like a couple, well, no, that was a couple of months ago. You said that, right?
No, I said it twice. I said it when they relaunched the 3 Avenger titles. When they did the launch, the new Avengers stayed the longest. I dropped Secret Avengers at 3, and then I mentioned the Avengers. I dropped at issue like 2 or I think it was 3 because of the artwork, and then I picked it up again, and then I dropped it when it was his artwork because it did all the characters looked the same.
Yeah,
I really liked the story though. That was the first arc.
It was amazing, yeah. And I didn't like Iron Man. The way he drew Iron Man, it looked like he was somebody from Minecraft. I did pick up the trade paperback of the second story arc, though, because I heard it was the Infinity Gauntlet was in it, and it was really good. And actually, it was pretty good.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I loved it.
Even though the Hulk had a square chin like Jay Leno. Other than that, it was looking over the artwork. The story for Avengers has been pretty good. The stories that come out of that title, it's just very rare that there's like one that's like, eh.
Ever since they did the Dark Avengers, I haven't liked it.
Did you hear they're making the Thunderbolts the Dark Avengers? They're changing the title.
I'm not getting that at all.
I am. I have to. My name. Have to get it. Forced to.
I really liked what Bendis has done with the Avengers. It's kind of sad to see him go.
Honestly, but Phil, Bendis has been doing the Avengers since issue 1. How do you know you won't like somebody else?
Before that, though, I mean, he's been doing the Avengers for like years.
I know, but there are so many other writers. I think that the series, Brian Michael Bendis is writing all the Avenger books. He just gave up Spider-Man, 3 or 4 years ago? He's writing other books. He's writing the Ultimate Universe. The poor guy, I mean, I feel bad for him more than I'm sick of seeing his name on my comic books.
For like an Avengers team book, I've actually liked the Defenders better. Because it's just been a different team.
In the Red Hulk, he actually just found out that his daughter's working with the Defenders.
I'm just kind of sad to see him go, and also I think it's more nervous because you look at what's going on with Uncanny X-Men, and that could very well easily be the Avengers in like 6 months.
Well said. Could be.
Yeah. I don't know. I just know that Brian Michael Bendis, he's good, but he's stretched out too thin. And no offense, a lot of the sarcasm in his books, as I've heard from several other reviewers, everybody sounds like Spider-Man at some point.
Well, you gotta admit, I mean, you know.
And I like Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not like his sarcastic?
Yeah, but Thor shouldn't sound like Spider-Man.
No.
Maybe some of the Spidey thingies were, got congested and they, kind of want to act like
No. After Avengers Versus X-Men, Bendis should really limit himself to how many Think of all the writers that are out of work because of Brian Michael Bendis.
Well, that's sad, though, because of that.
I'd like to see Dan Slott on Avengers for a bit.
Yes. Dan Slott has done amazing
fun.
work.
You gotta have somebody that likes writing fun stories because...
Yeah. I'll tell you, the first volume of the new Avengers, not the one that's going on now, but the one that was a couple years back, that comic had some of the best dialogue in it in a comic that I've ever read. Some of
Absolutely. Until the war happened, not the war, what was it? The Civil War. Yeah, the Civil War. Until the Civil War happened and then Cap died and everything.
Oh,
yeah.
that was...
I really like that breakout story, that first volume of the...
Oh, yeah.
That was...
really...
I don't know. Civil War to me, it was... I mean, that's what Mike was reading Spider-Man at the time, so I was just reading it to read it. It was a good story. It was interesting. I just find it hilarious that after all that and everything that followed that, where Iron Man became the agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., so to speak, and Cap died and everything, Iron Man just went through a complete reboot of the brain, and he doesn't remember anything from before. All he remembers is up to the war. He didn't make a memory chip about the war or anything, so his mind is completely blank from before the Civil War up. Same thing with Vision. And anything that happened during the Dark Reign, Cap doesn't know. Just erase the past.
Vision got ripped apart before the Civil War, so...
Yeah, I don't remember I don't know what arc... That was before the Secret Invasion, too. No, that's way before the Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion happened before Civil War.
That was in the last couple of issues of the Avengers, actually.
Yeah, I don't...
501, 502, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly. Okay, but before we go into Avengers vs. X-Men, I have a question for everybody. Everybody had a comic book that got them interested in reading comic books. I never asked this question, at least it's most of you. For me, it was Superman Forever that got me into reading comic books and interested in comic books in general. What was your first comic book that you picked up that actually made you say, okay, I think I like comics, I want to keep reading, or something like that, along those lines?
I'll go first then.
Yeah, the long silence.
We were in a bookstore, and my husband and I saw the Captain America 25, is it, when he died?
Uh-huh.
And my husband wanted that because he'd always been a Captain America fan. So then we went back and bought all of Civil War and just kind of like spread out from there, and then we started ordering them online. But mainly it was because we saw that Captain America book and wanted to buy that one.
That book, I remember that book. I didn't get it though, but everybody told me I should have bought it.
No, but I remember the
looking
death of
back,
Captain America.
Yeah, he didn't die though. What about you, Phil?
Well, mine's got a little bit of a story. You know, I have a younger brother, and I used to read his comic books because he got Amazing Spider-Man back in the 90s. I don't remember what year it was exactly. I was probably like 12 or 13 or something. And then I started getting X-Men. I can't remember if it was Uncanny or regular. It was the same time that like Onslaught was going on. Or maybe right before that or something like that. And I got it for a little bit, but then I stopped and I went into the Navy. And then, yeah, the death of Captain America, I saw that in the newspaper, and I didn't read it until like, you know, a couple of years ago, but I would have to attribute that book because it really stuck with me for a long time and got me back into comics. So, same comic.
Wow.
Cap 25.
What about you, Scott?
For me, it was Marvel Team Up, number 37, 1975. I was 6 years old. And on the cover, it's got Spider-Man and Man-Wolf fighting on a castle. And I was fascinated by monsters, but I was also equally fascinated by superheroes. So for me, I really remember reading that comic. My parents were just about to get a divorce, so everything was real crappy in the household too, and it was the thing I kind of, you know, when you're 6, man, you don't know nothing, you know, and everything's falling apart. So, you know, comics was the thing that really kind of,
The Retreat.
You know, got you know, into my soul almost, I guess. But and to this day, I think that's probably still the reason why I like superheroes and monsters, is because of that book.
For me, it was always a retreat, a way to get away from reality just for a little while, just to enjoy some fantasy books. I don't know why. But nowadays, they're trying to make comic books so real, it's not even funny. It's like I can't even escape into a fantasy world anymore because the fantasy is reality, or based on reality.
That's why the independent ones I think have been really good, because they're so out there.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's why I love Swamp Thing's another one that's like out there. I like a lot more of the ones that reach out into like that fantasy or space travel or stuff like that. It kind of just has that, okay, this really can't happen. So, whereas Spider-Man lost his job and he was on unemployment and the economy was hitting him hard. It's like, why? Why do I have to hear about the economy hurting Spider-Man? That reminds me of my life. I have no money. Thank you.
It's like, what next? They're going to have Peter Parker eating Kraft dinner for like 5 nights a week?
Yeah, right? Right?
Been there, done that.
We used to eat paper towels when I was a kid.
Yeah, but they know my story about comics, right?
Yeah, they know yours already. You talked about it on CCC and on here.
Okay, so now I have to explain.
Right. Alright, so let's get into the subject. That's the big deal that I talked about on my Avenger log, everything, the reason for this cast. Avengers Versus X-Men #1.
Yes.
There was a miniseries from back in the 80s or the 90s with Avengers Versus X-Men, but that was like a very short miniseries. This is something bigger and involves Phoenix Force, and Scarlet Witch is playing a part in it, and already they have their first Infinite comic out of it, AR, There's a lot of stuff we can talk about with Avengers Versus X-Men. But before we get into any of that, let's talk about the actual comic book. Everybody here read the first issue at least, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, for a first, and let's include issue 0 here just for the heck of it. For a first issue, do you think it's a good setup? Like, what's your feel of the whole series? Like, you know how you get like that first impression kind of feel?
Well, I got something right here. The first page you turn over and it shows the team. It's a little lopsided. And then you look at the X-Men side and there's not even any like, no like real, like original X-Men, well I mean except for Scott or something, but you know what I'm saying though?
Yeah, there's like no structure really. Yeah, you could tell that the X-Men are going to be overpowered by all the people that are going to be on with the Avengers.
But other than that, I love it.
Somebody has an echo. I just don't know who. I think it's Scott.
But it does have a good setup, though. I have to admit that.
Oh, I can't wait for the battle.
It's going to be in like 3 issues, trust me. It's a bi-weekly series. It's going to take 3 issues at least. And Scarlet Witch is going to be something. There's going to be something with her. I just have a feeling by the middle or towards the end of the series, something's going to happen with Scarlet Witch and she's going to be like the main focus.
This one was good.
I think she's going to get back with Vision.
Oh yeah, definitely. But now both teams don't want her. X-Men don't want her because she erased all mutant kind. The Avengers don't want her because of what she did to Vision and how she betrayed the Avengers. So, yeah, she kind of has a problem. No team wants her.
No, but it's
There was only one other thing that kind of really bugged me when I first was reading the comic. You know the part where Cap and Cyclops are on the beach?
Uh-huh.
And Cap is standing there with a shield on his arm, and we've already had this, me and Braumstar have had this discussion before where, you know, Cap has always got his shield underneath his shirt on his back, and here he's got it on his arm. And I'm just looking at that like, what is going on?
not only
And
that,
He knew. Cap knew.
yeah, but not only that, like
Of course, he knew he was going to get into a fight, so he had it on his arm. So,
and of course Cyclops, you know, he has to start everything, you know, like saying that he wants respect and everything, and then
I think Cyclops is going
Yeah.
just a wee bit crazy. Just
no,
a tiny...
he's acting like a
Magneto.
jerk. No, he's just a jerk.
I hope they kill him. And this time he
you know
doesn't
what?
come back.
I think something else is wrong with him.
You think he's being controlled?
I think they're setting him up for something else to be wrong because too many times Magneto keeps saying, "You're acting like me, you're acting like me." So I think there's something else
Emma Frost.
that's going on with him.
Emma Frost. This will be the way to kill Emma Frost. Yes,
Oh,
it's
yes.
her fault. You have to kill Emma. You gotta
Burn
kill her.
Then I will think about Cyclops being liking, but
I don't. Where's Charles Xavier?
Oh,
Xavier
yeah.
pops in and out every once in a great while. Where did he go? Wasn't he like the cornerstone of the X-Men?
he started the whole X-Men.
No, really. Thank you, Spock.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that.
I'm just concerned about what's gonna happen
But
with Wolverine.
does anybody know where Professor Xavier is? Did they mention it anywhere in any book? Maybe I missed it.
Is
Not that I've seen.
he not still in Genosha?
Oh,
No, the last time I saw him was in Wolverine and the X-Men at the school.
Yeah.
is he on vacation?
He must be.
Another one of them bald-headed carps.
Ugh.
He fell out of his wheelchair.
We kind of need him right
yeah.
now.
Just the only thing that we should all be concerned about is where Wolverine, what path.
Wolverine's in the middle. I think he's going to stick with the Avengers, though, because he's going to want to take care of Jean's daughter, the girl, the woman he
Yeah.
loved that got away.
Is everyone on the Avengers side?
Yes.
Yes.
See, I am not. I'm with the X-Men.
Okay.
Alright.
So when
Because I think that Steve
You're
Rogers
right, girl.
is a douche sometimes. He wants to control everything, and I think that's the whole problem that got him started with the Civil War.
but that's the problem with Cyclops, too. He wants to control
I think
the
that
Phoenix
he's a jerk
Force.
too, but I still think there's something wrong with him.
That's true.
I don't even think this is the real X-Men. I mean,
it's
like 5 people.
Characters tries to control stuff all the time.
I don't know.
Like everything.
It's mixed
I
up.
think it's 2 egos colliding, and both teams are gonna get caught in the middle of it. That's the problem.
You know what would be really funny though is if like let's say like something like really big happened and then Avengers and X-Men teamed up. Let's just say.
I
think that's what's going to happen.
You know.
They're going to have to stop the Phoenix Force.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's probably going to be Scarlet Witch erasing it or something.
Again? Didn't she erase enough?
No.
Well, you know how Chris just said that there's no team that wants her. I think that there is a team. I think it'll be a Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
I don't know if they're gonna team up or anything. I just know that it's starting off as a fight between the 2 sides, and somehow Scarlet Witch is gonna be a huge player. That Audrey was saying it off camera that they're making it too obvious that it's Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
And you know what?
I still think it could be Cyclops, like I said, because he's acting weird. And it keeps, and every time that that the Hope is shown to have that Phoenix power, he's always around.
True.
And here's a question: Who decided that Hope's the one that this is coming to? Like, who are the experts on both sides that are saying that this is going to happen? Like Wolverine, yeah, okay, whatever. But they're all saying it's Hope, it's Hope. How do they know?
Because apparently Cable mentioned it. Cable mentioned it.
The first issue that all the mutants knew that it was Hope.
And she also showed the Phoenix.
Assumed it's true.
Yeah,
so they're not even sure who she is. Like, they don't know really who she is, like what her background is and all that stuff.
Well, actually, did anybody read Avengers X Sanction?
No.
Yeah.
If you did, then you know in the last issue, Hope actually showed the Phoenix Force when she healed Cable.
Yeah, but Cyclops was there too. He had just left the room, so I still think it has something to do with him.
But I'm just saying, like, how do they know that it's coming for her specifically?
Yeah.
True, exactly.
So we're gonna have to find out. The issues keep.
I hope it's coming for Lockheed.
I just think it's gonna be Scarlet Witch. I don't know why. I just have this deep down feeling that she's gonna play a huge role. And by the end of this series, all the mutants are gonna have their mutant powers back.
Oh yeah, you can tell it's obvious.
Yeah, kind of, a little bit, just a tiny bit.
But the first issue, like answering your question, it is a good setup for more issues to come and all that.
Is everybody enjoing it though? Like no
Yes.
complaints really. I don't have
The
any.
artwork-
Aside from the somewhat wonky art in there, but
Hey Mike, she just
The
contradicted you.
artwork
I
is
don't hate it.
amazing.
It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but
I mean, the AR cover of Cyclops shooting with that.
We're gonna get into AR. We're gonna get into AR after we talk about the actual
I was
story.
just saying, just that part alone, and other pictures, just.
I like the big, like when he does like the big pictures of stuff where he kind of shows where that Phoenix Force is coming, and then when Nova's like crashing through and stuff. I like those pictures, but it's some of the faces that just kind of get weird.
Yeah.
Oh, that Nova picture where he was down on the ground. Now I thought that picture was really excellent, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're talking about.
But you're not seeing any real close-up faces in that either. You're kind of seeing the backs of people's heads.
Yeah, what'd you say, Scott?
That Nova picture looks like somebody who fell out of a wheelchair.
Yeah. Now wait, before we continue the story, since we're talking about Nova, if you got the comic, which I didn't know, you got a free digital download of the first ever Infinite comic, which explains what happens to Nova. I'm sure anybody, I think, Audrey, you're the only one that actually does digital here other than me. What did you think of the Infinite comic?
I didn't read it yet.
You didn't read it yet. Okay, I'll talk about it then.
I read this like 5 minutes before we started this.
Oh, okay, so I'll talk about it then. It's all about Nova, 65 pages of a prequel that, to be honest, if I knew I was getting it for free, I wouldn't have bought for 99 cents, but since if you didn't get it for free, for 99 cents, it was a good little backstory on what happened to Nova right before he crashed into the New York City. But yeah, Infinite comic was nice. It was a nice little specially thingy. But yeah. So anyway, going back to the story now that I've talked about the Infinite comic part. I'm looking forward to the next issue.
Yes, so am I.
But they're not going to fight till issue 3, you know that.
Ah!
It's going to be set up. All set up. So, Phil, you're going to have to sit tight for about another 4 weeks. And, okay, the AR thing. Once again, I think, Audrey, you're the only one that has AR, that would be able to use AR.
Yeah, it was really cool on the iPad, too.
What does AR stand for?
Augmented reality. If you have a Nintendo, which I'm
3DS.
pretty sure you don't have, but it's a Nintendo 3DS. Yeah, the Nintendo 3DS it originated from the Nintendo 3DS.
It's so awesome. It just comes to life. Just standing out.
Because I thought you were talking about some kind of gun or something.
The cover shows like a cool trailer of it, and it's really like the lightning and stuff that's on the cover kind of flashes and stuff, and you hold it over it. And
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I got the variant cover, and guess what? The AR doesn't work on the variant cover.
Oh no!
So for those of you getting variant covers, you're missing out on all the wonderful AR cover.
Oh, the cover AR was really awesome. I mean, it showed like flashes of different people
rubbing it in, rubbing it in, rubbing it in.
Well, you said you weren't talking about it.
You can talk about the internal art.
Well, you know what? To be fair, for $3 you can get a hit of LSD and it'll flash just the same.
There you go.
Not that I'm promoting drugs at all, because drugs are bad for you.
Yes,
absolutely.
They are.
Remember that, Michael.
Will you talk? Hello, I don't do those.
I knew Michael was a pothead.
But I don't mind the AR in the book. I just feel like it ruins the artwork. Like, I like nice, clean art, and then there's this big AR box where you're supposed to put your AR camera. It kind of bugs me, just a tiny bit.
Yeah, that's the only flaw to it.
That's the only flaw, in my opinion, to it.
You know what I thought it was? Here's how stupid I am. When I saw it, the first couple of panels, I thought, is this supposed to be like something that's being broadcast on like TV or something? Like, you know how CBS has
yeah.
I thought it was like AR, the AR, the news channel or something. I'm like, what the hell is this, man?
Yeah, no, it's something that Marvel's innovatively doing with all their big event books now. There's going to be AR in issue 2, I know that for sure.
I think it's going to be in every issue almost.
I'm going to cry. All the spoiled artwork. But then again, the digital copy doesn't have the AR in it, so enjoy the pictures more. So, I'm excited to see how this is going to... Alright, before we end the cast, how do you guys think this is going to end? How do you... Like, predictions. I'm taking predictions here.
They'll go first.
Who, me?
Anybody. Anybody. Mike's going to go last, apparently.
I always...
I'm going to go with what I said before. Witch is going to erase the Phoenix Force and it's gone. And then Hope's going to be, saved.
Save the world.
Yeah.
Scott?
I think there's going to be, like you guys were saying, I think there's going to be like a team up to try to stop the Phoenix Force. And, I don't know, Scarlet Witch definitely, and Hope is definitely going to be a part of all that. I just hope at some point Namor rips the head off of somebody, anybody.
Just to see that.
Yep, I just need to see that.
Power
Hopefully
pack.
it's Emma Frost.
Yes, when Hulk rips her head off.
Hulk isn't going to rip her head off.
I want to see that.
It's not going to happen. Audrey, what do you think is going to happen?
I don't know. I think whoever it's going to inhabit, I think might die at the end, because it just feels like that kind of a story again. Like,
and they'll come back 5 issues later.
Oh yeah. but like that.
Wait, I don't think she's done.
no, it's okay. I don't know what's going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, like I said before, and what Scott already said, either they're gonna team up, which I have a real strong feeling, or Avengers are just gonna win.
I have a feeling it's going to be Hope is Phoenix or Scarlet Witch is Phoenix versus the opposite. I think it's going to be the two of them duking it out. My opinion, I could be wrong.
It's our prediction.
In the end, I don't think either side is going to be the same ever again, and I think Wolverine's going to get the biggest ramifications from one side.
Question, though.
One side. Wolverine's going to get hit the hardest, and I'm pissed off because Wolverine's my favorite character in most of the Marvel U. So it pisses me off to know that the ramifications are going to fall 90% on him.
Yeah, I don't see anything big happening to like the big Avengers characters with the movie coming out this year.
Yeah, no. It's going to be Wolverine, and that's what pisses me off. But anyway, guys. Oh. No, go ahead. No, go, Scott.
I was just going to say, I think that, Wolverine's probably going to have to pick the X-Men side. I really do, and maybe he'll get ousted from the Avengers because of it.
Most likely. That's what I think. He's going to get ousted from the new Avengers.
Yeah. I can live with that.
I can live with it too because I still read the other X-Men books, but I'd like to see Wolverine stay in the new Avengers. It's nice seeing him team up with them. But we'll see come, let's see, 6 months from now. What's 6 months from now? October? Approximately?
Like October, November.
October, November, we'll know when the whole series ends. It's going to lead into 2013 with another big event. Watch. It's going to lead into something.
That is if we live.
Aftershock. Mike, we're going to live past 2012.
I'm just saying, everybody's making a big deal out of it.
We're not going to die.
I know.
The world isn't going to end.
I know that, but it's just everyone's making a big deal out of it.
Go home.
It's annoying.
How about this? Maybe Avengers Versus X-Men is going to end the world.
That's kind of sad.
That is, actually. Why think
that would be horrible. That's just horrid.
That's not funny, Phil. Shut up.
Maybe it's the honey badger.
Oh my god, no.
It's the honey badger. It'll end all. Alright, guys. So this was the Avenger Cast for the past 3 months that we've been missing out on. Thank you, Audrey and Scott, for joining us on the cast. Hopefully you guys will come back for the next one next month. And I won't throw out such quick invites, last moment invites, and stuff like that. Thank you also for being on again. Since day one, since cast one. What, Michael?
None, just said Chris, that's all.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Chris.
Okay, so hope you guys enjoyed this cast. Thank you all for coming on the cast again. And we'll see you guys soon in another Avenger Cast a month from now. Check out all of our sites and keep reading and keep collecting. Alright, guys, say bye.
Later.
Bye.